just didn't want you to forget them.
Well, I handled it well.
Yeah.
So, you know, I encourage you guys.
6 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Ask clerk to take roll.
Dvorak. Here. Vogel. Here. Walters.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Sarchet.
Here. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I have no additions or corrections. I take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel. Yes. Walters.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is public hearing on 301 Walnut Street. Time to close regular meeting and open the public hearing on the proposed amendment to the Polk City Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map. Ask clerk when the roll or when the notice is published.
June 28th.
Any written comments for or against?
No.
Ask staff to provide a report.
Mayor and Council, what you have before you tonight is actually two items. I'll address both of them at the same time. The first public hearing is addressing the amendment to the comp plan. The second public hearing will be addressing the rezoning request of the same property at 301 Walnut Street, which is commonly known as the bait shop property. This property has been non-conforming for a number of years. The request for the comp plan amendment is to change it from the comp plan currently has it shown as low density residential and both change to mixed use commercial. That would allow them with that change for the property to be rezoned from R2 to C1. C1 will then allow the property to be used as a combination of residential and commercial property. And as you probably are aware, the property is for sale right now. I see Kathleen has arrived. If you have anything to add.
Oh.
I don't think so. We covered it.
Any questions from anybody up here? Anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against proposed amendment? Hearing none, seeing none, need motion to close the public hearing. Do you have something?
Yeah, I guess I would just ask from, not that anybody isn't going to do this, but in the P&Z meeting, there were as many questions as he brought forward as solutions or a path forward. So as interested as I am in bringing this into more conformity from where it is now, we do a little more hand-holding just to make sure that they're fully aware when they pull a lever, all the implications of those.
Right, that I was going to mention when they were talking about the actual rezoning request instead of comprehensive plan request, but they did as part of the rezoning, they would need to come forward with a site plan before they occupied it, unless they continued. If they came in before December 31st with another bait shop, it would be a continuation of the existing non-conformities. So they wouldn't need to do that. But if they come in after that date or with any other use, they would need to do get the site plan from the city. That would give us the opportunity to review parking, review what the use is, review signage, and a number of non-conformities, so we would try to bring it more in compliance at that point in time.
Good. Ron?
Does anybody have any recollection of when that building was built?
I'm guessing you do.
Pardon?
I'm guessing you do.
No, not for certain. Early 70s, I think.
I think it might have been 72.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I remember.
I was
I
not
looked
on
at
the
the
council
website.
then, but I was on the P&Z. And I would say that we probably, I can't believe we didn't go through all the steps. I didn't know. I wonder if that's the case of where we did and it didn't get filed or what, but
Single family home was constructed in 1900 and the commercial building was constructed in 1976.
76. Okay, that sounds right.
But I would agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know the whys or what fors, but we got a chance to make it right, so there's no reason why we shouldn't.
Agreed.
In my mind.
Nothing else. I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel. Yes. Walters.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Motion carries. Next item is Resolution 2019-63, amending the Polk City Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map. Need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Walters.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Dvorak. Vogel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item C, public hearing for rezoning petition. Again, it's time to close the regular meeting and open public hearing on petition for rezoning 301 Walnut Street. And ask the clerk when the notice is published.
June 28th.
Any written comments for or against this one?
No, sir.
I think staff already provided a report. Anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against? Any other questions from council? Need a motion to close public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Motion.
Vogel. Yes.
Sorry, good. I'm used to Dave going last on the phone here. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, sorry about that. Item D, first reading of ordinance 2019-700, rezoning from R2 to C1. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel. Yes. Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Dvorak.
Motion carries. Next item, presentation from Capitol Crossroads. Mayor Sarah Kay with Pleasant Hill. It's all yours.
So much. And first, I just have to say, I feel very excited to come here and watch Don back in action. He was just wonderful at Pleasant Hill, so you're very
We are very fortunate to have him, and we're sad that he retired from Pleasant Hill, but we're glad for the timing perspective.
he's a gem.
Yeah.
So. But that's not why I'm here. So, Mayor and Council, I'm here tonight to give you an update at Crossroads regarding the stormwater management program and essentially studies that we've been doing under the local government collaborative element of Capital Crossroads. And really, this process and conversation started about 18 months ago, where we brought together all the mayors to say, okay, we've done the building code consortium, worked on fire codes, what should be the next step of the process? And they, through a evening-long discussion and writing lots of topics on the board and voting, the group with their city mayors decided that stormwater should be the point of conversation. It's a challenging one, but we needed to have it. So after the conversation began, we quickly realized that and recognized that each city wants to have its own identity and, of course, approach this in a very different manner by each community, because not all the watersheds are the same, not everyone has the same issues. And so our purpose was never to go through this process and say every community will adopt everything that this city has or this city has. This was an attempt for all of us to collaborate, learn some of what's working, see what's not, and also really understand the work that has been going on and put a dollar amount to that. Because as we found through this process, we had been meeting with Home Builders Association and commercial real estate groups, and really what we heard from them was, well, one, you're going to want us to go back and fix what we've done. And we said, no, that's not why we're here, that's not anyone's intended approach. And so it was good to clarify that with them. But the second thing they said was, well, what have the cities actually done on stormwater? And I call stormwater our hidden utility. We don't collaborate, we all approach it on our own, but as you can see, $415 million has been spent and will be spent by the time we get 2024. And those are just the projects that are expected in our books today. And with the flooding that occurred last year and some in the summer, those numbers go up. So we are not surprised that this much money is being invested by all of us, including yourselves. But it's important for us to be able to share that with the developers out there that, yes, we are playing our part and doing it up and to the best of our abilities. So I'm sure you're very well aware, and no, I did not go stalking around your community. Through the partnership of staff and Aaron, who is helping us with Capital Crossroads, we have some images here and examples of where these issues have happened in your own. I'm sure you're very much so familiar with them. You can see a couple more over here. And if anyone's not familiar, if staff wanted to comment, that's always welcomed.
Mike, you got anything? No.
What?
Okay. Public Works Director, just seeing what he had to add.
Right.
Yeah. No, I just.
So really what we know is that what we've been doing doesn't work, and that there are opportunities for you to just work on your own comprehensive plan. Should you be evaluating your waterways and watersheds as an element of your comprehensive plan, looking at steps you want to take over the next year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, so the community that you are building is not constantly battling with stormwater issues. You know, there's even some cities who are now looking more seriously at stormwater intake into the wastewater lines. That's an element of working on stormwater that actually restore ratepayers not pay for the stormwater that's being processed through your sewage facilities. So there are many opportunities, or even including doing pilots. If you have developments that you want to work with a developer on who's interested in a partner, working with the site. This site has these issues. Where can we partner together for the benefit of that area or the community, and not necessarily adopting a code approach, but trying to adopt and use what works in the right spots. So as you're very familiar, you know the watersheds that are around you and that impact you. And stormwater does not see city boundaries. We are especially familiar with this in Pleasant Hill. You know, this time last year when we had the big rain event and 4 Mile Creek flooded because we sit at the bottom of it and it came all the way down to me. So a great lesson for us and working up and down that 4 Mile corridor and collaborating and even being a little bit more ahead of emergency management, knowing when we see a big storm like that happening in Ankeny, how quickly we need to respond. So looking at storms differently and making sure you're communicating with your partners on watersheds is a huge opportunity. So really what I'm here today to do is to encourage you to take a look at what are your opportunities, what would you be interested in tackling, and work with your staff. They are the absolute on-the-ground experts, know where your issues are, maybe where the greatest opportunities lay, and just consider bringing some new changes or initiatives forward. That's it. I don't know, Aaron, since you're here, if you would like to share anything about the process.
So, I'm Aaron Chittenden. I'm with DMAC Business Resources and provide facilitation services for Cal Crossroads. It's collaborative. And as Mayor Sarah was stating, thus far we've had a series of speakers, different experts, both local and from outside the area, to get everybody kind of on the same page as to, why might we need to look at stormwater management. As I discussed with your staff when I came out here to answer this presentation, is the next phase that we're going into after we get through going around to all the city councils, and we are visiting every city council to talk about what we've been doing, is to pull together the staff, those experts, to talk about, well, now that we've kind of had the conversation of why we need to be considering stormwater management differently, how do we want to do that? What are the different tools that have been used? We plan to involve the development community in this as well. Particularly, I've had conversations with folks over at Hubble that are doing some interesting things in the city to share with us what have they found that has worked, what have they found that has not worked, what do they have that they might want to try out. And as Mayor Sarah referenced, there will be different tools that are going to be appropriate in different communities. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It really is, can we come to some agreement on what are the outcomes we want when it comes to stormwater, and then what tools are available, and let each individual city choose what makes sense. So that's really kind of our next step. Request to you is stay involved with the process. I don't know where it's going to end up. I'm not a stormwater expert. Really, I know people who know things is really my role in getting them all together to come up with this.
So with that, are there any questions for us?
Aaron, we talked about this a little bit, but could you explain to the council how this differs from watershed management?
Sure. Well, the watershed management authorities will still interact. They're very much a part of this, actually. And I've been to several of their meetings giving updates on what Capital Crossroads Local Governments Collaborative has done. The reason that this was selected as the vehicle versus the watershed management authorities is that this initiative really required an umbrella organization that was metro-wide. And none of the watershed management authorities were metro-wide. It also provided a structure that the communities were familiar with of coming together to collaborate. This is just a larger topic that has been addressed before. So they're certainly very much involved on. I think they're very much going to be involved going forward. What I envision is that there will be some overarching discussion about stormwater management, and then those watershed management authorities are going to have to get together in their own watersheds to figure. So that's my guess.
I guess the only thing I was just going to say, having seen Des Moines' presentation in conjunction with this at the MAC meeting a couple months ago, we got to stay on top of this. I think they're in a much different position with 50 plus years aged infrastructure that we don't have, but there's still a problem with that, 20, 30-ish year old infrastructure as to the ideal standards now, or ideal, I shouldn't say standards, a better way to do things, right? So if there's a way to phase this out and help us identify in some of those not quite as old as Des Moines and completely different set of revamping needing to be done, better ways for us to assist Public Works and identify some stuff. That's what I think I'm most interested in. Minimum standards, that type of thing. Not a one size fits all, but recommendations tailored a little bit more to, we're not the only community who's experienced a lot of growth in the past 20 or 30 years, but it seems to me from what I saw from Des Moines, there's maybe a different tiered set of, really aged, kind of aged, what do we do going forward, development type structure. So
yeah, truly stormwater management, it's a very, very big client. What we are really talking about at this point is for new development, redevelopment, whatever stands for that, for those numbers that Mayor Sarah showed you earlier, that cities are going to address previous development, that doesn't go away with this one. That's still going to be there. But what we hope to do with doing new standards going forward is we don't exacerbate.
okay.
We don't do things that we know 20, 30 years from now causes some issues. Your position, much like a lot of other communities, I actually happen to live in Grimes, a community that's experienced tremendous growth in the 15 years that I've lived there. In fact, I'm shocked as I drive around and see it. One of the things that the city staff in Norwalk did when I was down there was pretty interesting. Talked to their council, they said that something that they learned from last summer when we did this series was that although the city of Norwalk, they have not experienced what some of the older cities have that have had their growth 20 years ago, but what they learned is that if they don't get on top of things, they could end up in that same position. So they were seeing it as a benefit to say, hey, we can get out in front of this and not have some of these things.
That's the benefit I see to it, and I appreciate your initiative or whoever for getting us started. It's something that's sorely needed. If you look back to the 4 Mile Creek and the other side of 4 Mile Creek that I'm familiar with, I have relatives that lived out there for years, and that's been going on, well, since the 50s, I know of, probably before then, and it's something that should have been taken care of a long time ago. I think that, and another big thing is with guidelines, you can have consistency from town to town, city to city as to how this should be regulated, and you won't hear from developers saying, well, we can build in there in this town and we can't build there in that town. So that's the benefit I see to it.
That's another reason for capital crossroads, that we all go forward together.
Yes. Thank you.
So I did not take attendance at the meeting that took place, but the people that deserve credit for bringing this forward were the mayors and city managers and mayor pro tems that were at that 18 months ago. Whatever reason said this is the issue.
Down here. Mike, Kathleen, I'll throw to you.
No, it's exciting really to talk about, because this is one of those topics that don't get talked about, right? Very much. So, I was just taking notes, and I didn't know if I was going to be asked, but sump pump collector lines, you name it.
We talked about that recently.
The ordinances that we need to do in developments to keep people off ridge lines that are sliding away, and we know will slide away in a few years. So those are all those tricky things.
No, I was thinking the same thing you were on the sump pump thing, so we just talked about that.
Right.
Recently, so, yeah. Kathleen, anything to add? Your point?
Not particularly. I think it'll be really helpful to have stronger guidelines as
You
we're
bet.
looking at plats when they're coming in and the erosive soils that the city has and the
Yes.
steep ravines and that kind of thing. We spend quite a bit of time, Mike and I, even this today, going out and looking at
Yep.
drainage issues in people's backyards or in various locations around the community and trying to figure out ways to solve.
Mhm.
It does take some time.
It seems to be more and more of those calls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate the time and your presentation.
Thank you.
Next item is public comments. This is time and place for comments for any item other than those in a public hearing. Or is anyone who wishes to address the council at this time? Hearing none, seeing none. Moving on to item 7, I guess consent agenda. Take a motion. So moved.
Second.
Questions, discussion? Roll call, please.
Vogel? Yes. Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes,
Sarchet?
Yes.
DeVore?
I think I lost Dave. Phone.
or he could be sleeping.
Yeah, no, the line died, so I think he's, anyway.
Okay.
So Dave went absent at 6:20. He was here, he's gone. Anyway, motion carries. We have no new business items. Under reports and particulars, a couple things. Let's start down here with you, Chief. I talked to you earlier.
Yeah. Some exciting news that we have is we have 2 firefighters that decided on their own to join the state wildland firefighting team, and knowing that they could be deployed anytime, totally volunteer on their behalf. They got notice yesterday that they're to be in Alaska by Friday, so they're going to Alaska. They'll be there until 30th, I believe, helping out with the wildland fires that have taken over Alaska. Quite a problem up there right now. So they're excited about it, and I'm excited for them. That'll be an opportunity for them. So Ryan Brisley and Matt Gurdett. So I'll ask you guys to keep them in your thoughts and well wishes to them, because it is quite hazardous duty. I don't know if it's anything that I'd be interested in, but they're daredevils, and they're going out after it. So
20 years ago.
yeah, maybe 20 years
okay.
ago, right?
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, that's finally announced. But a
Cool.
lot of those guys are stepping up and helping, not just Polk City, because they do every day of the week of the year, but now they're stepping up at a national level.
Pretty cool opportunity.
Put Polk City on the map, right?
Good work out of them. Absolutely. Cool.
You said they found out yesterday? Yes, yep, and they knew that going into this. They could have three days to 7-day notice to be ready to be deployed. They have a go bag, they're ready to go.
Gone for a couple weeks. Good for
They
them.
had to go through extensive training to get checked off and certified to, they call it a red card,
cards,
wildland red card. And they're both certified. They went through extensive training to do it. Had to hike like 7 miles with certain weighted backpack, and they proved themselves. So now they're going to be tested.
Cool stuff. Yeah. All right. Let's see. A couple things I have. I attended a Polk City Community Foundation meeting last week. Gave a kind of a listen to some of their thoughts, their wants, their needs, and kind of gave them some more feedback on this side. Dan Martin had actually been in there the month before to have a similar conversation. So be watching for the Community Foundation to be coming out with some stuff and some various opportunities to kind of grow that group and grow that fund. RBTV continues to roll along, so I'm going to throw to Bridget. I know she went to a meeting in Sheldall 2 weeks ago that I
Sheldall last Monday. Tonight is Alleman, and then at the end of the week we have the school board meeting.
just got the 18th confirmed on the school board, so we'll go up to the school board. So, what was your reaction from Sheldall?
Sheldall is obviously excited. One of the city council people asked me what was I going to do about parking in Polk City with such an event, and I said that I would definitely speak with our police and our public works and making it as safe as possible as we try to do with every other event in town. So
Appreciate all you're doing to keep that word out in front of everybody and making those presentations. And as a reminder, Four Seasons Festival is coming up next weekend, Friday, Saturday. Plan accordingly. That's all I have. I'll start down here. Nothing? Nothing? Ron? Rob?
What are our plans to, publicize? I saw the schedule for Thursday. We're got the open house in the afternoon. Are we getting that out in any?
It's on our sign and our website, and it will be on Facebook before I leave tonight.
Okay.
So I have it posted on the door.
Okay. I not directed any one person, certainly not you, Jenny. I do think we're missing an opportunity here to involve more people than have been involved to this point. I don't know that we're going to get it done at 1 o'clock on a Thursday with less than a week's notice, but maybe the schedule had to be what it is. I wish there could have been more community involvement, I guess.
I appreciate your comments. I will say we went through like 4 revisions of the schedule to make this one work, and where it wasn't going to have to be bumped into two full days or a day and a half, it would have just required more people to take more time off work. So I will say that Dawn and the firm did a good job of trying to come up with something that was workable for everybody's schedule, quite honestly. So, any comments down here, Mike?
Yeah, just one. Last week, there was an email chain go through about the traffic lights up here at 3rd and Bridge, and they are tentatively going to be transferred from the temporary ones to the permanent ones on the 17th. It doesn't have a time or anything like that, but right now it's scheduled for the 17th.
They're aware of what's going on 19th?
Are you trying to say, what are you trying to, yeah.
Nothing will, the road's closed.
They will work flawless.
Wow. Gives it a couple days.
It's a pretty big,
I thought the same thing, but we've been fighting this battle, so
Yeah.
we're just gonna go for it. There is 4-way flash mode on that thing.
Anything else? Anyone? Need a motion on 10?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Oh, okay.
yeah.